look ahead to this weekend, any particular thing that you're kind of focused on as you're preparing for what's ahead?
Um, just focus on getting better. Trust the coaches, just what they're telling me and working on with them. So, not much. I just try to go out there and wrestle, for the most part.
Whenever you wrestle a guy the second time in somewhat quick succession, how much is it you wrestling your own style versus you trying to implement what you learned in the last match?
I mean, I think if you wrestle your own style, especially like my coaches are telling me, he's got to wrestle you, right? Now there is things that you can do to slow that guy down a little bit, like in his better positions. But at the end of the day, I think going out and wrestling how I know how to wrestle, and like Coach Taylor says, implementing what we work on. I think if I go and do that, then I'm hard to beat.
If you look back at the last match with him, any specifics you saw from there?
Yeah, he's a funky guy, right? He likes to scramble. So I've been working with Coach Taylor a lot in scrambling positions. Went back and watched my match probably 4 or 5 times. But yeah, just going back and seeing little things that I could do better instead of negatives, looking at the positives of it, and fixing those things and getting better in those positions is something that the coaches preach. So definitely been doing that and working on a little bit of scrambling.
What's it's kind of unique. You'll probably see this guy again at Big 12s and maybe NCAA's, who knows. But to see a guy that many times in a given season is a little bit unique in college wrestling. What is it like? I get multiple rematches having the same guy.
It's fun. I mean, he's a good competitor. Those matches are fun when people want to wrestle you and you want to wrestle back. So there's not a lot of thumb blocking, a lot of waiting around. So I know, like, in those matches, it seems like it's hard, and which it is, but it's a lot of fun. I think a lot of guys will agree with that. If they get to wrestle someone who's wants to wrestle them back, then you're actually wrestling at that time. So it makes the matches fun. It makes it enjoyable. It makes you look forward to it.
Cam, you're a wrestling veteran. What would you think about a national tournament duel?
I think it'd be fun. I think if you can implement more wrestling and have like a dual meet for nationals, yeah, I think it'd be fun, especially coming from the Big Ten. I mean, when I was at the Big Ten, it was dominant, right? But we also didn't get to see a lot of these other teams. So I think if you have that national duel, you're going to see a lot of other teams wrestle.
From an individual standpoint, though, Coach talked about showcasing individual wrestlers and brand in general. What would be some of the benefits from an individual standpoint?
Yeah, I think like Coach Taylor said, like you just said, showcasing the individual talent that you have. And I don't know, I think I kind of just focus on just going out and trying to wrestle whenever I can, for the most part.
The crowds have been getting better and better this year. Whenever you run out and there's even more people, just kind of what is that like as a wrestler?
You know you have support, right? You know you have your fans behind you, and Coach Taylor and the coaches always talk about going out and putting on a show. So, I mean, I don't really notice it a lot, but that's the end goal, is to go out there and wrestle, have fun, and try to entertain.
You talked about Coach emphasizing implementing what you guys work on. As the season gets, as you guys get deeper into the season, postseason looming, how much more critical does he become to try to push you guys to do that even more?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is there's a lot of our guys on the team that are implementing it, and it's like sometimes you go out there and it's like, okay, maybe he didn't wrestle as good. There's a lot of times where I feel like the 3 matches I lost this year, I was implementing stuff that we were working on, and sometimes it just takes time for us to finally get it and click. But I think that even now it's still the same. He sees positions that we need work in, and I don't know if he just makes it up in his head and comes up with moves, but he has a lot of stuff, and I think like Coach Taylor says, there's just every day's a work day if you can make it a work day. Every day's a day to get better. Every second. I mean, there's just so many ways of getting better, and like you said, people think that they're really, really good, but you can get better no matter where at.
The kind of aggressive style that he has really implemented with his team. When you talk about having fun, how much fun is it to wrestle the way that he likes to see you guys wrestle?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I've been on both sides. I had a very slow style, right? But I've been trying to implement it, and there's been matches where I have implemented it, and I've had a lot of fun. And he's just like, you got to keep going. And like last week, I wrestled well. I mean, I stayed on the attack, but I didn't score a bunch of points, which I wish I would have. But I also haven't wrestled in a month, so that's how it goes. And just keep staying positive with it and keep trying to score points is what Coach Taylor says, and getting in positions that you work on.
Did you? I think Coach said you were maybe dealt with some illness over
Yep.
over the break. So did you have some time where you were kind of off the mat and not really doing much? Or?
Yeah, so got back from Christmas break and got sick a little bit, so I took pretty much a week off, and that was that Air Force duel. And then came back and was like, all right, let's give it a test run, see how it feels, and get tired, open my lungs up, because I know this week I get a chance to wrestle Peyton, so definitely was smart, and I appreciate the coaches for listening to me, for real.